at this point, I'm going to clear my text port, and what we should be able to do is we should be able to use import QR code, right? This library that we pointed to, and run that. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. We've managed to import QR code right here into this, this instance of TouchDesigner, and so we know that it's there waiting for us. Now, it's worth mentioning that this command has got to be run every time you run TouchDesigner. That doesn't persist from runtime to runtime. So it doesn't hurt to make sure that that command sits in an execute dat as one of the first things that happens when Touch fires up, to make sure that it knows where to look for those goodies. Okay, now that we've done all of this silly work, let's actually do a bit of fun stuff to take advantage of what we just wrote, because we just did all this labor to make sure this would actually work. So how can we take advantage of what it is that we have? Let's add a movie file in top, because we're going to create a little image file, and we're going to want to see it. We're also going to want a table dat, and we're going to want one more text dat. This text dat is my QR maker. All right, I'm going to save this, save the contents of this. I'm going to put it right here. It's also a Python file. I'm going to make sure that I point to that here. Lovely, QR maker, great. I'm going to open that. I love it, amazing. I'm going to make sure that's synced. And I'm going to start here with just hello world. All right, so what are we going to do next? Well, let's head back over to VS Code. We've got our QR maker. And first things first, we're going to import QR code. That's the thing that we're going to use to actually do all our fun stuff. Our project directory, right? Where am I going to save this thing? That's going to be at our project.folder. So we're going to save it right next to our tow file. Project.folder is a nice little TouchDesigner shortcut to get us the location of our tow files directory. Our file name. Okay, great. What are we going to call this thing? For now, I'm going to call it test.png. Next, all right, what's my file path? Where is this thing going to live? Well, I am going to use a Trixie format method to get us there. We're going to use curly braces / curly braces. We're going to format that with our project directory and then with our file name, right? So wherever our project or wherever our tow file is, put it there and then just add test.png to it. Great. Our QR data, what are we going to turn into our QR code? Well, we're going to use that operator we just made. I think we just called it table1. Let's check. Check here in Touch. Table1. Why don't we give that a better name, like QR data? Table QR data. So table underscore QR underscore data. Okay. We want the 0, 0, right? We want the 0 row, 0 column cell. And I don't want the cell object. I want the dot val. I actually want the string contents of that. And now I want to create a new image out of that goodness. And I can use QR code. So I'm going to use my new QR code method I just imported. I'm going to use make and QR data. I'm going to make that image. All right. Next, I want to take that new image. I want to save it. Where do I want to save it? At that file path we constructed up above. We're getting close. I want to take that movie file in top. So my op movie file in 1. It's parameter.file. I actually want to load up the file path. I want to put the file path right in there so I can see it after this runs. And so I can do this time and time again. I want to take that same movie file in top, and its parameter reload pulse. I want to dot pulse that so that I make sure that I reload it every time I fire this off. Okay, let's save that. Let's head over here to TouchDesigner. Let's right click, run this. Oh my goodness, we just made a QR code. If you have a smartphone that's friendly with QR codes, you should be able to point it right out there, and you can see that it shows up right away. What else could you put in there? Well, you could do something like put a web address in there. Whoa, my caps are on. Google.com. We should see that if we run this, that QR code updates. Again, I can use my camera and point my camera at it. I should see that open right up for me. So this is a fast, easy way to make QR codes if that's ever been something you've wanted to do in Touch and haven't wanted to like go through the big rigmarole of all sorts of headache to do that, as well as thinking about how do you actually construct an image from Python. This is a fast way to kind of get ourselves out the gate and making those kinds of things. This approach should work both on Windows and Mac and frees us to think about all of the different other libraries that we might take advantage of to be able to do some really fun, exciting things when we're working with TouchDesigner. All right, there's more coming, but I want to give us a break right there to take a nice deep sigh of relief to understand that we have done all sorts of wild, crazy, cool stuff working with external modules. And better yet, what you land with, like let's say that this is a project you're working with a friend, right? So this folder, ext python, we should be able to take this thing from one machine to another machine to another machine and have it work seamlessly without a lot of kind of frustration and consternation. In large part because, sure enough, all of the Python dependencies that we need for this to work, especially with TouchDesigner, are packaged right up with where the TOE file actually lives. If you were working with a version control system, another approach that you can use here is you can, in fact, make sure that all of this stuff, whatever is in this dependencies folder, isn't actually ever checked into your repo, right? Because we happen to know that this requirements text, that contains all of the goodies that we need to make it work no matter what machine that we're on. So we can save ourselves a heartache of checking in a bunch of additional code to GitHub or to any version control system because we can pull that wherever we are. All right, I know that's a whole mountain of things to think about. I hope you are all as excited as I am about what this means for workflows in TouchDesigner, and happy programming.